All right, time now for our final inductee. Last but certainly not least. Of course, football is kind of king here in the state of Hawaii. And tonight, the Hall of Fame welcomes its record-breaking 12th football official. That man is Hardy Spoehr.
For more than half a century, Hardy Spoehr has been the friendly neighbor next door in the Hawaii football officiating community. A graduate of Punahou School in 1962, the former son of Oahu began his career in the early 70s on Hawaii Island, working every position and mastering maybe the most difficult one, umpire.
It used to be the position, maybe still is, that none of us wanted to be in because, you always got run over, you always banged around. It was generally for the older and slower guys, at least in the OIA anyway, okay, and not the sleek types that are today.
I think the umpire's position is a crucial position in a crew because it's a person that controls the interior line play, and Hardy was perfect for that job. I know he started off doing that, and then he started being a referee. He told me a story a few years ago that I think his second year of officiating on the Big Island, the assigner said, "Hey, you're the referee for a Kohala Honoka game out at Kohala." So he said, "Okay, I'll go ahead and do that." So in the second year, he was already refereeing. But he's a real good umpire. He controls the center. He does a good job of marking off the penalties, a lot better than I would if I was back there.
His work ethic shined among his peers, rising up the ranks through the decades, eventually becoming president of the Hawaii Football Officials Association and an elite level official in the Western Athletic Conference, working countless hula, aloha, and Hawaii bowls while maintaining a standard of professionalism and preparedness.
Hardy was not biased, he was fair, and he was knowledgeable. And all through the years of doing it, Hardy was also an excellent referee because he was a good rules person.
He was the liaison where, to me, that made it feel better. And then when we did the joint cruise, I'd be the referee and he'd be an umpire, and that's really where I got to know him and liked him. He did have some situations I thought were wonderful when he went to Tonga, and he led that group. The former Kahuku coach, set that up in Tonga, and some of the guys from the OIA went with him, and they had a great time.
And it's those opportunities he gave others that has made Hardy invaluable to Hawaii officiating, never wavering a chance to help a fellow ref.
Just being around him in the association, he was a leader. He was a person that, when we met, he had all the paperwork ready. Sometimes he'd come in with 5 reams of paper and stuff. I said, "Oh, we're going to be taking a lot of stuff home," because here, he hands out stories or articles that he read and stuff that he felt would be good for everyone to know about. So, yeah, he was good.
He never got really flustered with anything. Sure, sometimes we get a little down on what we see, but he was always a positive person. That's what I liked about Hardy. And he was always a very good man, generous to a fault. Just an excellent human being.
Hardy continues to give back in other areas even to this day, volunteering as a docent at Iolani Palace and an evaluator with the Oahu Football Officials Association. A man always in the center of the action, without being the center of attention.
Is the most sincere, nicest, most genuine person you could ever meet.
That to me was perfect. It tells me what football officials are about. And you've heard these other stories about the lifelong friends. Truly is. It truly is that, and he certainly epitomizes that.
Hardy, congratulations. This honor is long overdue as far as I'm concerned. I know that you've assisted, hundreds of football officials over the years, and I'm glad that you're being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
It's a hearty welcome into Hawaii officiating's greatest group. Congratulations to 2025 Hawaii Sports Officials Hall of Fame inductee, Hardy Spoehr.
One of the best in the biz, well-loved, universally respected, our final inductee to the class of 2025, Hawaii Sports Officials Hall of Fame, Hardy Spoehr. Oh, hang on, Hardy. Hardy, we have your speech, right, Hardy? Oh, okay. What, are you going to do magic? What's going to happen here? What? This is the part of the banquet where Hardy Spoehr will do magic. Okay, there you go. There you go. Hardy Spoehr, everybody. There you go.
Ooh, everybody. Ola mai kai. Ola mai kai. Isn't life good? Mahalo. Oh, I think Ed had it right. Let's all go home. Did I beat that time? Listen, being a caboose tonight, I'll try be brief. You know, the 3 B's of public speaking, yeah? Be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. So I'll try to be gone pretty quickly. First of all, I just want to thank the board for honoring all of our officials tonight. It was wonderful. You know, I'm getting up there now, and we never had this type of recognition before, and it's really thanks to the board that's made this event a wonderful event. Tonight we've cried, we've laughed. You know, Dana said it right. We are families. We're an officiating family, and we feel the pain sometimes, and we feel the laughter sometimes as one ohana. I guess what I want to say is very brief. You know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes families to raise an adult. And so we have many families, which now brings me to just a real brief point of privilege. I need to introduce my family over here. My wife Joyce, my 2 daughters Sarah and Brandy, my grandchildren who are with us tonight, Ki'ilea and Tyler, and their significant other ones, another Tyler, and Justine. My paddling ohana, Anui Nui Canoe Club, our coach Nappy Napoleon, who is now about 64 Molokai hois, holds the record. We've been together for, in some cases, more than 25 years. And of course, all of you, our officiating family, probably our largest family. I need to just quickly recognize Paul Manning, Ross Wilson, and Bill Thompson, the 3 people from the big island of Hilo who got me involved in officiating. And of course, no one, and Joe's already been mentioned, but no one can forget Joe Ornelas. You know, Joe introduced me by saying, you know, I started umpiring, he said, you know, Hardy, you can do the whole game without a whistle. Everyone just stops. You just get the ball and put it down. He was right. No, Joe and another official named Al Barros broke the glass ceiling for our local officials going into national officiating conferences, which were followed by, of course, George Gussman, Frank White, who's here, and today there are many other local officials traveling to the continent to do games. Wonderful, wonderful opportunities, but it goes back to Joe and Al breaking that barrier. I just want to say one thing, and that's a challenge to all of us. We need to learn our mokuahau, our genealogy. You know, all of us go back 50 years. Well, some of us go back 50 years. We know the teams that played because we probably were playing. We know the officials that were officiating. But about 100 years ago, who were the officials then? Who were the teams that played? When did our individual sports start to be played in our islands? Those are things we need still to learn. And we can do that. On your table is a handout that shows you how you can go back online. The Library of Congress has digitized all our local newspapers, and the story of our officiating is in those newspapers. Simply type in the place, the time, the date, the keyword, your sport, and you will find the newspapers coming to you. You'll read about the events. You know, in those days there were 5 balls and 3 strikes. Did you know that in Cartwright's field that he put together? Who was the official or the umpire in those days? One was Cartwright's son. But you'll read about this in this website. So I recommend that to you, particularly because I'm not a particularly reading person. But Ernest Hemingway once said in a philosophical way, you know, we have 2 passings in our life. One, when our bodies simply run out. But that's not the end. When we really forget people's names, and those names are no longer known, that's when we pass completely. So, what our challenge is, go back, look in those newspapers, find out who officiated those early games. Let's bring them back into our lives. Yeah? Well, with that sort of sounds a little morbid, but I hope you all look at that, because you'll read all sorts of interesting things about when our sports started, who started them, what were the games like with balls and strikes, or touchdowns, or touchbacks, or volleyball and basketball, starting at the YMCA. These are things we don't remember. They're not in our memory bank. But let's try when we come back next year to be able to talk about our early history. I'd like to leave tonight, you know, being the caboose. I have a favorite composer, Mark Yamanaka. Some of you may know Mark from the Big Island, and he's written a number of mele. I particularly, something said to me internally about this mele, Living a Dream. And I think he'll forgive me for making a few edits on his words, but I think it applies to all of us as officials. We've been blessed to say, in the least of this life of ours, we got healthy families and hard-working wives. I got a roof over my head with a bed to sleep just right. I don't need nothing fancy. I'd rather been doing just right. We're living a dream, we're living the life. We couldn't complain if we went to heaven tonight. We're living a dream, we're living a life. If we pass tomorrow, I think it would be all right. We've flown across this globe and seen them big city lights. We much rather have the country, though, underneath the starry nights. We got me my ukulele and a bag at my side and a cold glass of water, and everything's feeling all right. I'm living the dream, I'm living the life. I couldn't complain if we went to heaven tonight. We're living the life with my fellow officials tonight. To be with you all, let's all continue to make those important sports calls. Mahalo, everyone. Aloha.